Year number 2.
We live? Let me just make sure we're live here.
We're going live.
Are we?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
We're live.
We're live. All right, we are live. All right, we are here in beautiful sunny Florida, and we are going to be breaking down UFC on Fox 23, Shevchenko versus Pena, or as I like to call it, Cowboy versus Masvidal, because that's what the main event should be. So, as you guys can see, I'm joined by a couple of good friends here. First up, a couple of Canadian friends here. We got the MMAProphet, and we got Rockstarzee. What is going on, guys?
Nothing much, man. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on your show.
Z, what's going on,
man?
man?
Well, man. It's going well, man. Happy to talk some fights with you guys, and yeah, let's get it done.
What are you guys thinking about this card, man? Does it live up to the Fox expectations for you, or is it a little weak, or what are you thinking here?
I think Gamebred versus Cowboy is the best fight that can be made right now. I think it's incredible, and it's pay-per-view worthy on its own. So I don't really care about the rest of the card. I'm so focused on that one. I love it.
True that, man.
Yeah, that's honestly, like, I think in a way we've all been waiting for that fight for, like, it seems like a year, maybe 2. I don't know. I've been waiting for it forever, a matchup like that. I really like Masvidal here. We'll get into that a bit later. But there's also quite a few other good fights on this. There's also the, what's his name, Rafael Assuncao versus Aljamain Sterling fight, which is, that'll be fireworks. And we also got, which should be a pretty quick fight, Arlovski versus Ngannou. So I'm really looking forward to some of these matchups on here, and I think it's going to be a good card to break down.
Absolutely, man. There's potential for so much violence here, in my opinion. Some super fun stuff. Alvey, Marquardt, I mean, Nash and Jingliang, that's got knockout written all over it, and a couple of bad light heavyweight fights. Bound to see a finish there, but let's get into it, man. First fight on the card, and probably the worst fight on the card. We got JC Catrell minus 145 taking on Jason Gonzalez plus 125. So starting out here, man, like I said, pretty bad fight. Both these guys coming off losing in their debuts, but to be fair, they were on short notice. But still, this is more than likely a loser gets cut match, and I just got to say, nice, man. I just got to say, I wish UFC would promote matches like this as loser gets cut match. I feel like it would add so much. It would add so much to the fights, like that Phoenix card we had a couple of weeks back with those 2 big man fights that we started the card with. If they advertise those as a loser get cut fight, I mean, that would just add a little bit more to the fight, and more people would be. Can
I cut you off for 1 second? I think that'd be hilarious. Couldn't you totally see the new UFC? Couldn't you see the new UFC regime totally taking that on too, just as like a way to hype it? Loser gets cut.
Absolutely.
Be there. Like, I think that'd be hilarious. Yeah, that would take a bit away from the sport, and obviously so many people would be up in arms about it. But I mean, nonetheless, it would be a favorite of comedy, so I like it.
Yeah, man. But yeah, Jason Gonzalez, I think he's shown that he's just not ready for the UFC level, and I don't think he ever will be. Catrell, he showed me a lack of skills as well. I don't think he's quite as bad as Gonzalez. He's got decent skills. I know he fought at 145, coming up to 150. I think 155 is probably better for the guy, but most standout thing to me here is Gonzalez' takedown defense. In the Ultimate Fighter House, he got taken down constantly in both those fights. Even the one he won, he got taken down and held down that whole first round and then came back and won. Catrell's got decent takedowns, and actually he fought a guy named Cody Walker in Legacy who is like a near replica of Jason Gonzalez. Same size, same style, and Catrell dominated him with takedowns. So not with much confidence, man, but I like the Catrell here via a 29-28 decision. And when it comes to betting, I would pass on that. Z, what do you think about this one, man?
I think Jason's offense is a little dangerous, but I mean, on the Ultimate Fighter, he showed us he has almost no takedown defense, and in his last fight, he got starched. So definitely not impressed with him overall. I also think he's like physically imposing, but I don't think he's very athletic. I think a lot of what he has is just kind of beach muscles, you know, like biceps, chest. And JC Catrell, I haven't seen much from him inside the octagon, but like you mentioned, he took a short notice fight against a real tough out in Caceres. And, you know, he fought through that fight and actively knew that he was out of shape. Like in the corner, he was saying, look, I just can't do it. You know, I didn't have a full camp. So I definitely expect an improved version of him, but really, do you want to trust a guy? Not really, especially not unless he's an underdog. So I can just easily pass on a bet in this fight. But yeah, I'm picking JC Catrell.
Prophet, what you think about this one, my man?
I actually really like Catrell in this one, just because of lots of the things you said. First of all, I just saw on Twitter Paul Shaughnessy tell me to undo my top button. Mm-hmm. Not happening, brother. Not happening. This is the style, mate. It'll catch on. But yeah, anyways, yeah, JC Catrell. I like him in this matchup. I think he's going to be able to take down Jason Gonzalez pretty easily. You like the top button, right, Z? Come on.
No, I'm laughing because Paul said we were talking fights, not mutual funds.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Hey man. Maybe we'll bust into the mutual fund segment later. You'll never know.
Hey, maybe this is my mutual fund.
Yeah, this is our mutual fund, Paul. Get out of here. No, props to Paul Shaughnessy and props to the Bookie Beatdown. We'll give them a shout out right now.
Yeah, definitely shout out to those guys.
Everyone watch the Bookie Beatdown. It's a great show, even though he insulted my top button. How dare he? But anyways, so JC Catrell, yeah, I see him getting Jason Gonzalez down pretty easily. I see him dominating him there. He was so his UFC debut was against Michel Prazeres, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and that guy, he's been really good in the UFC so far. He's had some good takedowns. He's been strong, being able to bully people. He went 3 rounds with him on 3 weeks' notice. Maybe it didn't look the greatest, but man, it was like round 2, and he started getting really tired, understandably so. I see this being really hard for Jason Gonzalez. Also, I mentioned in the last podcast I was on, Jason Gonzalez just got knocked clean out. It wasn't a TKO either. And how long ago was that? Maybe like 5 months ago, something like that.
September, I think.
Yes.
UFC 203.
Yeah, September. So, and he got knocked clean out. This was not a TKO. And every time Jason Gonzalez has been knocked out, it has been a KO. His chin, if he gets hit, it's gonna get real shaky. But I see JC Catrell not doing things that are too risky in this fight because he's gonna definitely want to get that second win inside the octagon. I see it being his night. I think he's got more experience, and yeah, I've put 2 units on him as well, and I put it at minus 135. So I have 2 units on him at 135, and yeah, I see that bet cashing as well.
All right, so all 3 of us are going to be going with JC Catrell. You wanted to add something there, Z?
No, I was just saying I think that bet cashes. Me
too, man. But moving on here to the Fight Pass main event, we got Eric Shelton minus 120 taking on Alexandre Pantoja plus 100. I will start with you, Prophet, on this one. So go ahead. Floor is yours.
So we're doing Pantoja Shelton. Man, this is the definition of a coin flip. This is so both these guys, for those of you who don't know, they just participated on the most recent season of the Ultimate Fighter, the Champions one, where it was all the flyweight champions from other organizations. These guys lost their. So Shelton lost to what's a guy that just fought
Hero.
No, he lost to.
He lost to.
The guy who fought Demetrius.
He lost to Tim Elliott, yeah.
Sam Elliott, yeah. Or Tim Elliott, that's it. He lost to Tim Elliott, who, just fought for the belt. And Pantoja lost to Hero. I don't know what's happening with Hero right now, but both these guys have showed really great performances in the house. Shelton, because he was ranked 15 seed or something in the house, I was kind of like skeptical of him. I thought he would, lose his first, maybe lose his second, but he kept really impressing me. He showed he was really great in the scramble, had great stand-up. People tended to want to try and grapple with him because he was doing better than them in the stand-up, and he was holding his own every time in the grappling. Both these guys didn't lose by much in their fights. I'm going to give a slight lean to Shelton, but that's not with any confidence at all. I don't suggest anyone really bets on this fight unless you have inside information or you just like to, just play the luck of the draw. If that's your thing, go for it. But man, this is a really tough bet. This and the Caceres fight, I think, are the two of the closest matchups on the card. What do you think, Z?
What was the other close one?
I think the Caceres Knight fight is a really close matchup as well.
Yeah. All right. I don't really see this as much of a coin flip, man. I'm pretty solid on Eric Shelton. I think he's clearly the more technical fighter all around, especially striking. I think he's a good wrestler, and he's training at Team Elevation. So he's already acclimated to the altitude. And that's very important in this fight because I feel like where Pantoja is better than him is in being like a scrappy guy, pushing the pace, maybe dragging it into later rounds and getting guys tired. If he's moving up to altitude, I don't think he's going to be able to pour it on Eric like he is going to need to. And for that reason, I really don't mind taking Eric straight or using him in a parlay. Probably like a 2-leg parlay for like plus 230 with another person who's close to even money. That's how I would like to play him. And yeah, I'm actually looking at that pretty seriously.
All right. So both of you guys going with Shelton, huh?
Yeah. The only thing like I'm gonna say is that the grappling of Pantoja, we'll see. Shelton's been really good in the scrambles, but I'm just the only thing that makes me not bet on this. The main thing is Pantoja's grappling and whether he can really be dominant there. Yeah. So, but yeah, I hope that bet cashes for you, and I hope it cashes for my tip master.
I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but my little counter to that would be like, I just think Eric's the better wrestler and the better overall athlete. And because of the elevation factor added into that, I don't think Pantoja is going to be the fresher guy at any point in the fight. I think Eric Shelton gets out ahead and stays ahead. So that would be my counter argument to that. But I agree that the submission threat is a threat.
All solid arguments, man. But I'm actually going to go ahead and disagree with you guys here. So
shut up, Kelton.
So this is a much better fight than the first fight. Big jump in technique and just overall skill. But yeah, like Prophet said, both these guys coming off the last tough season. I'm so glad the UFC signed them both. I think they both have a very high ceiling in the flyweight division. Pantoja, he was the former RFA champ, so people expected him to do well on the show. But Eric Shelton kind of came out of nowhere. I think he was like the number 15 seed, and he took out the number 2 and number 7 seed. And I love, like, he displayed some serious athleticism, well-rounded skills. I love the jab he throws. I love how active he is on the ground. There's a lot of things I like about the guy. But speaking of the ground, man, Pantoja is really no joke there. And Shelton's going to want to avoid letting the fight go there. I mean, we've seen how well Brandon Moreno has been doing in the UFC. He's showing off some sick grappling of his own. Pantoja submitted him, man. Although I do think Shelton's got a pretty good striking advantage here. Pantoja's a little wild. Shelton's way more crisp, way more technical. I do think Shelton can probably stuff a majority of the takedowns. But the thing is here, the camps for me. Pantoja's coming out of Novo União. Shelton, he's coming out of a gym I've never heard of. Maybe he's switched camps since then. Do you guys know where he trains?
He's at Elevation. Team Elevation.
Is he? Okay, wow. Well,
I'm pretty sure. I could be bullshitting, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, I really have no idea. I just went off of what Tapology had on him. But yeah, man, all in all, I do see this being a very close 3-round decision, but my official pick is going to be Pantoja via 29-28 decision. And really the only reason I'm picking him is because not only can I see him winning the close decision, I can see him submitting Shelton. So it's really a thing where I'm picking him just because I think he has more ways to win. But betting wise, it's a pass for me. But getting into this next fight, man, a couple of sloppy light heavyweights here. We got Marcos Rogerio de Lima minus 175 taking on the newcomer Jeremy Kimble plus 155. Z, I will start with you on this one, man.
I think if Kimble can get out of the first round, I think he's a good bet. A lot of people like to hate on Marcos de Lima because he can quit and he can gas and he's not really, the most technical or well-rounded fighter, but he's that kind of guy who's just a big dude and he's going to be a handful for everyone in that first round. So he's dangerous, but I think, again, Jeremy Kimble is from Denver, so he's already acclimated, and he's a guy who throws a lot of volume, not a lot of hard shots, but he's definitely going to fight hard for you, and he's just kind of a scrappy guy. So I can definitely see this being a live betting opportunity. If Kimble survives the first round and Marcos is looking to slow down, or looks like he's slowing down, then Kimble takes over late, either TKOs him or just wins the next 2 rounds. So I don't really mind a play on him straight, to be honest with you. Again, I haven't pulled the trigger there. I'm going to wait this one out, but definitely someone I'm eyeing up because I think he's a little bit underrated. He's not as big of a bum as he looks, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So me personally, I think we're going to see some not, great technical shit, but we're going to see some fucking action here, man. And most likely a finish. That's usually how Lima fights go. I don't think he's had any fights go past the first round. I could be wrong on that, but
none recently, and none in the UFC.
Yeah, none in the UFC. But yeah, man. Me personally, I think Lima is better everywhere, and I think we're gonna probably see something similar to the Clinton Hester fight, where catches the dude on the feet and then submits him on the ground. All 5 of Kimble's losses have actually come by submission. He's a little lost on the ground. I know both of Lima's losses in the UFC have come by submission, but he's got a pretty slick ground game, man. He's no slouch there. But Kimble, he's a guy that usually comes in pretty bad shape. He's a natural 185 pounder. He does get hit quite a bit. I do actually like Lima quite a bit here. So my official pick is Lima via a first round sub. But I wouldn't recommend a bet on him just because he does find ways to lose and he doesn't have the best fight IQ. But I do have the doesn't go the distance in a parlay and a few paired up with a future fight, and I actually have Lima in the distance at like -127. I got it in my fuck it parlay of the week, so got that. And yeah, man, Prophet, what do you think of this one?
Man, it didn't really interest me. I just started really researching it today. What I've seen from Kimble is the fights that he's won are against really bad people. He got submitted against what's his face? Who's the Denver guy? Chris Camozzi. His most recent losses to Chris Camozzi. That was in 2014. So pretty far time away. But that was submission, and it was a really.
Oh man, we lose him.
Wake up, Prophet.
Oh man.
One thing I'll say while he's frozen is I definitely give, like, Marcos is a lot bigger, so this could look like the Clint Hester fight in that. But when you say he's no slouch on the ground, like, he was trying to strike off the bottom versus the Russian he fought last time, and really showed no real submission defense, or what at least wasn't actively looking to get up. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure his ground game is that good at all. I think he's more of just kind of a big hitter, and I think that like I said, if Kimble gets out of the first round and Marco starts to get tired, Kimble's going to win the ugly fight. You know what I mean? The slow-paced kind of, not slow-paced, but like the sloppy, both of them gassing out type fight. I really think Kimble gets that done with volume, even though he is the smaller guy. But Prophet's back here, so what do you got to say?
Yeah. when did I get cut off? Sorry,
Just
my
start
internet
over.
connection was stuff. Yeah. Well, yeah, I just I see. Bottom line, I see Kimble being. I see some good.
Oh no!
He got dropped.
Oh,
Get
yeah,
him
dropped.
back in here. Get him back in here.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna send him an invite here. Not much more to say on this fight, man. Whatever you gotta say. What are we doing here?
I've said it, man. I'm not even saying I'm gonna bet this fight, but to me, it's just like the possibility of it getting ugly and both of them gassing out. And I got the guy who's grittier, who throws more volume, who lives in Denver. That's just the angle I'm looking at. But really, I'm hoping money comes in on Lima, or I'll just pass it. You know, it's no big deal, but it's just an angle I see.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the doesn't go the distance I took? You think that's gonna cash?
It might cash, but I don't think it's worth it, because you get him at -175 or 170, and then you took inside the distance for -127. Like, you're not really getting that much more on it. You know what I mean? So if it's a crazy slow-paced fight where Marcos just ends up on top and slops on him, you're not cashing it. You know what I mean? If it does go the distance. So for me, when I'm comparing those two lines, I would have just taken them straight, as opposed to like getting 3 or 4 or 5 times your money. That's a much better spot to take inside the distance, or to take a prop, in my opinion. But if he wins, it's probably via finish, so you're probably good.
So have you guys talked about the altitude being a factor in the finishing capabilities?
Yeah, that's what we were talking
Okay.
about.
Okay. Well, yeah, you already talked about it then. I just got back. Hopefully the internet doesn't fuck up anymore. Sorry about that, guys.
All good.
No worries, no worries.
So
So yeah, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think
I'm staying away from it. From Kimble, he looks kind of sloppy. I've seen some interesting combinations from him.
No.
all right, we're just gonna move on to the next fight, man.
Yeah.
We're not gonna sit here and talk about Kimble de Lima all day long. But next up we got man, talk about an upset last fight. We got Eric Spicely minus 120 taking on Alessio Di Chirico plus 100. Interesting fight here at 185, man. Both guys coming off their first UFC victories, but much different kind of victories in my opinion. Whereas Spicely, his stock drastically rose in my eyes, and Di Chirico's stock actually dropped in my eyes. You know, Eric Spicely went out there and finished the number 15 guy in the world in the first round, whereas Di Chirico struggled with one of the worst UFC fighters there is. But man, not much to say here. I really am not high on either guy at all here. I don't see a bright future for either of them. But when it comes to this matchup, I notice that both guys tend to make their fights really grindy and really ugly. And since I see most of this bout being a grappling affair, I'm going to go with, in my opinion, the much better grappler, and that's Eric Spicely. Everything I saw in the Velikovich and McClellan fight that they did to Alessio grappling-wise, I see Spicely doing much more better and effective. When it comes to striking, obviously, I would give Alessio a good advantage there. I think I would not be surprised whatsoever if he goes out there and starches Eric Spicely in the first round. This is still Eric Spicely, of course. But like I said, both these guys, they always seem to make it ugly, and I like Spicely in a fight like that. So my prediction is going to be a 29-28 Eric Spicely decision. But when it comes to betting, I am passing for sure. We got Prophet back?
I hope so, man. I hope so. This is getting depressing, man.
Prophet. Talk some Eric Spicely, Alessio Di Chirico.
I'm gonna try to make it really quick because I think I'm fucking this whole thing up right now. But yeah, I think we saw Di Chirico versus Gareth McClellan. He didn't do that great against him.
Never again.
Fuck me dead.
You're good.
Fuck me dead. What am I doing? The MMA gods hate me right now. Anyways, so yeah, Di Chirico, absolute dog shit. Eric Spicely can't take a punch. They're both really bad. But I do see Eric Spicely rushing the grappling, having a good game plan at the start and just trying to get it over with immediately, much like he did with Santos. He's fought the better level of competition. Even in his losses, he's lost to the better people. And to tell you the truth, Di Chirico doesn't hit like those people who he's lost to in the past. I think Eric Spicely should get the sub here. I have 2 units on Eric Spicely at minus 110. So I like that. I like that bet. Yes. Sometimes I know lots of people don't like to bet on bad people and people that do the sort of thing Eric Spicely does. And you know what? I don't really either. But sometimes when I see a skill gap in certain areas and a disparity, I do like to hop on that. I wouldn't be surprised if this bet doesn't cash, to be honest with you. But I see an opportunity here, and I'm going to take it. So I took the 2-unit play.
Z, what you think, man?
I don't know about all that. I'm not as high on... I'm not as high on Di Chirico as some people are. Like, I don't think he's a diamond in the rough or anything like that, but he is a decent, well-rounded fighter who throws good volume and has pretty good boxing on the feet, good check hook. So he's definitely better on the feet. And the thing about that Spicely submission versus Santos, I really feel like that was kind of how do you put it? Like Spicely was clearly intimidated that fight. So he was fighting on, I need to just grab a hold of anything and hang on for dear life. I'm not really sure Di Chirico is going to pose that same, going to get that same emotion out of him in this fight. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to fight as intensely as he did in his last fight. And I think that Di Chirico can just kind of outland him and just coast. So I don't like. I think I agree. If Spicely gets it to the mat, he's clearly got an advantage. But if he can't do that, or he doesn't fight with a sense of urgency, I really think Dicerico is just going to box him up. So I'm a little tempted to hit the plus 100 or 105, but really I would need more money, more plus money to be tempted to bet on a guy at this level. So I hope your bet cashes, but
unless you bet the other way. But no, also another thing I'd like to say is I kind of rushed that because I thought my connection was gonna fuck up again. But anyways, yeah. So I don't want to say Dicerico's complete dog shit. I just wanted to summarize, like, why. Yeah. Dicerico's like had some. He hasn't fought very good people, and he hasn't done necessarily like the greatest with them. Does he have the potential to outpoint Spicely here? I do totally agree with you. He could totally do that if he can negate the takedowns. But the thing about Eric Spicely is when when he grapples with you, he'll kind of like he could pull guard and go for an ankle and get it to the mat that way. You kind of have a slick back take on the feet. He's got ways of getting it there, and I do see him doing that. Dicerico isn't a completely shot fighter by any means, but I don't see him being able to put all the skills together to get Eric Spicely out of there. Hence why I bet it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. But yeah, on to you, Kelton.
That's fair.
Sorry.
That's fair. That's fair. I would just go back to the urgency. Like, I think Eric Spicely has those cool back takes against Moreta and other guys when he's intimidated, and it's like, you know what I mean? Do you know that angle I'm taking?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just don't know if Dicerico is going to force that out of him. But I mean, he's shown it in the past, so he could get it done right.
All right, so moving on here to another light heavyweight matchup. We got Jordan Johnson, the newcomer, at minus 230, taking on Luis Henrique da Silva, otherwise known as Frankenstein, Frank Weiston, at plus 190. And we are going to start off with Z on this one. What do you think, man?
It's always interesting when you get a prospect coming in, fighting a guy who's kind of tried and true in the UFC. He's had experience. But I just think stylistically, Jordan Johnson is a good wrestler. Trains in Phoenix, so not the same altitude, but still not at sea level. And Luis Henrique da Silva just gasses a lot. It's also a quick turnaround for him. So I don't know if he's banged up, or some guys like that angle where a guy loses and just jumps right back in. Maybe they had an off night, but really, I think stylistically, at altitude again, Jordan Johnson can definitely gas out Luis Henrique da Silva, who even in his wins, they're like back and forth, and he pulls something out. So, yeah, I don't think the line is necessarily accurate, but I'm leaning Jordan Johnson, so I'm picking him. No bet.
Yeah, I have something to say about this fight. Did you guys? How much tape did you watch on Jordan Johnson leading up to this?
I watched 2 fights.
I watched the highlights. I watched the highlights of his 5-round fight, and I watched one other fight from him. But
okay.
I figure I saw what I need to see.
Did you see the one where the commentator's like, "Big swinging Johnson"?
Yep.
He keeps saying "Big swinging Johnson" is the British commentator, and he's like, "Big swinging Johnson has a good grasp around his neck." That's a big swinging. It was so good. It was like sexual innuendo, like 24/7 when he was saying it.
Man,
that big
hilarious.
That big swinging Johnson got on top of him. Oh no, I loved it. But yeah, what I see with this fight, all jokes aside, is big swinging Johnson being able to grapple him, grind him again. Just give him a good pounding, just really feed it to him. Just give it to him, good and hard. 15 minutes of pure poundage. Yeah, he's not even gonna kiss him before, I don't think. But anyways, it'll probably grind him up against the cage. Maybe get some takedowns here and there. I'm pretty confident he'll be able to avoid the submission, though. Everyone saw that armbar that he got against Joachim, so we know he's got some submissions. So I think he'll be able to grind him out here. Plus, as you mentioned, Frankenstein or whatever you want to call him, he gasses super early. He's shown glimpses of brilliance, but man, like the wins that he has, he's squeaked like lots of them by. Like they weren't dominant until it was that that kill switch was engaged, you know?
Exactly.
So, you know, it's not like he was like winning the fight all the way up to when he won. He just got the win, and props to him. Good for him. Would I put some money on him? No. I understand the play on Johnson. I don't really understand the play on Frankenstein here. I do understand just leaving this bet altogether because obviously this is his first time in the UFC. But I have a 1 unit play on him as of now, and on Jordan Johnson, I got it at -165. I'm hoping some late money comes in on Henrique, and I can put another unit on him. We'll see, or maybe I'll just mix him up in a parlay or something. What about you, Kelton? What are your thoughts?
So, man, it's pretty interesting how it seems like Frankenstein has looked worse after each fight. I mean, he is 2-1 in the UFC, but honestly, you look back at those 2 wins, he was in some serious trouble in both those fights, and he just gutted through them. He's so tough, he's so durable, but man, this fight is tough as fuck for him, man. It's pretty similar to his last fight in that it's against a debuting fighter who's predominantly a grappler. Now you add on to that it's a month's notice, it's at altitude against a Denver guy, and like you guys said, Frankenstein's cardio is already so bad. I like a close, evenly matched round 1. If Frankenstein's going to win it, it will be in that first round. But my official pick here is Jordan Johnson via second round submission. I think he's going to tire Frankenstein out and get that sub. When it comes to betting on either of these guys, I'm passing on that. But I do have the doesn't go the distance parlayed with the Kimble to Lima doesn't go the distance. And I got that at +110, 1 unit on that.
I'd like to add one more thing about Jordan Johnson too. I can't whip out Sherdog during this podcast, unfortunately, because my internet's definitely going to crash. Otherwise, I'd have some more accurate statistics for you. However, he fought one guy, and this guy has fought some good competition. If one of you guys can look him up, he's fought a guy that's fought in Bellator. He's also he had a loss against Misha Serkinov. He lost against someone else who was a good fighter, who might have even been in the UFC at one point. So this guy, so Jordan Johnson, you could argue that he's fought one guy that might be better than anyone that Henrique has actually ever faced. So it might just come down to octagon jitters in this and whether he wins or not. But if Jordan Johnson puts everything together tonight, I think he should easily get the victory. And I can see why the line's the way it is. The bookies are getting smart, man, like it or not. Like it's the times have changed. It's not when the guy's making his debut and they're automatically underdog. It's not, those times have passed. They're getting wise to it, and so are the people as well. So it should be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, you were talking about the Sean Asher fight, and that was the same fight where the commentator was saying swinging Johnson over and over.
I love that. I'll probably have to watch it again just to get a good laugh.
But coming up next, guys, this is an interesting one to me. We got Jingliang, the Leech, -150, taking on the newcomer, also on short notice, Bobby Nash, +130. And I am going to let you start off with this one, Prophet. What do you think?
I like Jingliang here. I watched footage on Bobby Nash. I didn't think too much of him. He had a very so he wins most of his fights pretty early. He had one close fight up until the submission against a guy whose name I don't know because I can't whip out Sherdog. But he has a 3-2 record. He's beat no one notable. This guy took down Bobby Nash a bit. He also hit Bobby Nash pretty cleanly with some shots. And if it was a person was striking like Jingliang, throwing those shots, it would have been nighty nights for him. It would have been game over. Jingliang, he's got solid movement, solid striking. His ground game's a little bit questionable, but I think he has what it takes to be able to get up to his feet against a guy like Bobby Nash. I see Bobby Nash getting lit up on the feet, having to take some desperation takedowns. And yeah, if the guy that was fighting Bobby Nash was outstriking Bobby Nash, it's just going to be concerning the things Jingliang's going to do. I have, I think, 2 units right now on Jingliang at -140. I also bet the under in that matchup. I think I forget what I didn't copy and paste that, what I got it at, but I got it at a good price. I think I got it at minus 110 or minus 120, one or the other, maybe minus 115. And I put 2 units on that as well. I see it being early. If Bobby Nash does get his way too, he might be able to finish it early on the bottom. So maybe a bit of insurance on that. Who knows? But yeah, the thing about this is, as you guys probably mentioned before, the over should maybe be cashing a lot on this card just because it's in altitude. We'll see if that's a factor here, but I think Jingliang can light him up. What do you guys think?
So, man, I'm expecting fireworks in this fight, man. Both these guys, they throw leather, and they both have big power. You know, I read that Bobby Nash has a wrestling background, but I haven't really seen that in any of his fights, honestly. I mean, I'm sure he's used it in some of his fights, but I haven't seen it, and he normally doesn't use it. So even if he does, Lee has a pretty good get-up game, and he's damn strong. He's huge for the division. He got taken down by Anton Zaffer in his last fight, and he made Zaffer look real bad with a very quick reversal. And, you know, if it goes to the ground, I like Lee to just punch him out. He's so ruthless with his ground and pound. He showed that against Lima. He showed that against Zaffer. Dude is just relentless with his ground and pound. Some of my favorite ground and pound to watch in the UFC. And when it comes to striking, you know, Nash, he's got power, but his striking is super basic. And even worse than his offensive striking is his defensive striking. His defense is so bad. He gets tagged by a lot of lower level fighters, and Lee has some damn good striking. You know, he's not perfect, but he's super solid, way better than anyone Nash has ever fought. Lee's also got big power too. So I just love Lee's chances here, especially with the UFC experience, Nash coming in on short notice. So I like Lee to get it done early here on the feet or the ground. My official pick is Lee Jingliang, first round TKO. And I do have 1.3 units on the under at minus 130. And I have 1.4 units on Lee Jingliang at minus 140. Z, what you think about this one, man?
I think I'm slightly leaning with the Lee Jingliang, but when you look at his record, like, really, what's he done? He went to split decision with David Michaud, who's no longer in the UFC. He lost to Nordin Taleb. Okay, he looked pretty good. He knocked out Lima. Lima has a glass chin. He got caught versus Nakamura, but he was looking good. And then he beat Anton Zafir, and he made Anton Zafir look bad because he is bad. So really, he hasn't done anything that's really impressed me, except like how he fights in the octagon. What I'm saying here is his level hasn't impressed me, but like, he does throw fluid shots. He hits hard. He's strong. Like you said, he's big. But I can definitely see a situation where Bobby Nash takes him down and grinds him out, or lands something big himself. I definitely favor Lee in the striking. Like I said, much more fluid. Bobby Nash is very stiff, very hittable. Like you said, throws basic shots, whereas Lee is looking to counter. He's looking to throw in combination. So I give you the edge, but I don't really want to trust him in this spot. You know, I don't know. I just I feel iffy about it. So good luck to you guys. Hope you guys cash your bets. But again, I'm staying away, man.
Also, another thing to support your argument is the I don't know if you said it already, but the mission all the way over from China. If he's not actually training down here, like, that could pay a factor, and who knows if he's acclimated or not. But that being said, I do see it being a pretty quick one for him. So yeah, we'll see how she goes, eh?
Let's do it. Let's cash it.
Yeah, let's cash, brother.
So moving on here to a fight I am beyond excited to talk about, man. We got Rafael Assuncao minus 140 taking on Aljamain Sterling plus 120.
Hey, Kelton, do you like Assuncao here? I'm curious.
You know, man, I think he's got a pretty good shot at winning this one, but let's talk about this fight for a second. So first off, it's an excellent matchup. I love this fight. It's veteran versus prospect. To me, this is easily the third best fight on the card behind the co-main in the main. Sterling, he's coming off his first loss. Assuncao, he's coming off that loss to Dillashaw, in which that was his first fight in something like 2 years. And, you know, he didn't look bad in that fight. He looked pretty damn good in that fight against a very, very elite TJ Dillashaw. And if that's a rusty Rafael Assuncao, I cannot wait to see how he looks here with just a 6-month layoff. But getting into it, man, just going to come out and say it. like Prophet said, I'm super, super high on Assuncao in this spot. I think he is better everywhere. I think he's got a ton more experience, especially against high-level competition. Like I said, fought TJ Dillashaw twice, looked great in both those fights. And I think he's got a big chance of keeping this fight standing, where I think he has a super huge advantage. Super crisp boxing with, I'd say, pretty good power for 135er, and he's got some decent kicks to go along with it. Aljamain Sterling, his striking, on the other hand, it's coming along, but based on the Brian Caraway fight, he's going to need a lot of time to sharpen it up, and that time should be spent against lower level 135ers and not a killer like Assuncao. Based on what I saw in that Caraway fight, he needs a lot more time than 8 months to improve to even beat Caraway in a rematch, let alone a guy that dominated Brian Caraway. Aljamain, he showed those fancy kicks against Caraway. He's got good speed and athleticism, so they look nice, but they aren't really accurate and precise. And I think Assuncao, even more than Caraway did, is going to make him pay for those, man. They're a bit telegraphed. When it comes to the grappling, I do think it's closer than the striking, of course. Rafael, in my opinion, is more technical and stronger on the mat, but Aljamain, he's super long for the division. He's probably got the explosiveness advantage to win a scramble or two. But the thing is, I don't think Aljamain has the takedown ability to get it where he wants it. Assuncao is a super stocky dude, very good takedown defense. I'll be shocked if Aljamain gets him down more than once. And I like Assuncao to land some takedowns of his own just to mix things up. I think he's that good to where he can just take the fight wherever he wants it. So my official pick here is a very, very confident 30-27 Rafael Assuncao. Obviously, I am max betting Rafael Assuncao. I got 4 units on him straight, and I have a 1-unit parlay of him and someone else in the later in the card. And just because I think Assuncao is so much better, I wouldn't play a total on this fight. I know a lot of people are taking the over, but I just think he's so much better, has such a big striking advantage that I can see him finishing Sterling here, honestly, man. But Prophet, what do you think here?
Yeah, I definitely do favor Rafael Assuncao here. Would it surprise me though if Aljamain got some takedowns? I wouldn't be surprised if he got like a few takedowns, much like we saw in the Dillashaw fight. But one thing to note about I guess this fight and really every fight moving forward is the new point system that the judging is doing. So
Nope,
not for this card.
What do you mean?
Colorado didn't do it. They're still in the old system right now.
What?
Yeah, they did not adopt the new rules.
So this is like state discriminatory, like.
Hey, that's what I heard. I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong, but
no, I'm not. I'm not going to argue. I'm not arguing with you by any means. I'm completely ignorant to this. I'm just asking, like, is this a thing for real? Fuck. I don't know.
I forget where I saw it. This might just be hearsay, but I mean, you saw it too, right, Kelton?
Yeah, I saw.
Okay, it's fact, guys. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it sounds pretty likely. I trust you guys. Yeah. Okay. Well, so off to you, Kelton. No, I'm just kidding. No. I think I still favor Assuncao here. I could see him doing it inside the distance. I saw someone throw an interesting statistic out the other day that Aljamain Sterling is actually like the least hit fighter in the UFC. So he doesn't get hit that much. He seems to be pretty good at utilizing his range, not effectively as in like he's actually like hurting his opponent with it, but he's at least keeping the distance and keeping them away. I think the blueprint for how to beat Aljamain Sterling has been shown to the world. I think Rafael Assuncao has the intelligence and the fight IQ to do what's necessary to really expose the weaknesses of Aljamain Sterling. I see him being the more skilled, more veteran fighter. But as Sean Carey Tattoo mentioned, who's got the higher ceiling? Probably Aljamain Sterling. Who's probably maybe hit their ceiling, maybe not. Probably Rafael Assuncao. So this could be one of those matchups where the younger, hungrier guy wins it and outpowers them. Like on in the 204 or no, not 204. Was 206 the one in Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like that card, there were a couple matchups on that card that cash that were the more skilled fighter actually got dominated by the more hungry person and the more with the better gas tank and more athletic person. So, you know, these things can happen here. But I've put 2 units on Assuncao. I feel pretty confident here. I think he's outclasses Sterling in a lot of ways, and I think he'll do what's necessary to get the win. I wouldn't be surprised if he did it inside the distance. I won't be betting a total on this one. It probably goes to decision. And yeah, I also have that 2 units of that parlayed with Ngannou and Arlovski not going the distance to give me plus money. What is your take on this fight, Z?
I feel like I kind of got to be the voice of reason here. I mean, like Assuncao beat Caraway, but he's only had 1 fight since then. And stylistically, when I'm looking at this, like, what do you think is going to happen when they face off? What I see happening is Aljamain using that range and just basically running away from him, but outstriking him. Like, Assuncao has that kind of classic Brazilian style, which you know, a lot of good fighters use, like Aldo and all these guys, but they're not movers. You know, they will win if you exchange with them at like Muay Thai range. But if you're moving on them, they don't really have that closing the gap ability. And I feel like that's what Aljamain Sterling is going to do on the feet. Just keep the range, use long flippy kicks, keep him away. And if he's winning the fight like that, he only needs to win a couple scrambles and get a couple positions to squeak a decision here. So I'm definitely not confident on Assuncao, especially at -150. Like, I don't like that line at all. I was kind of tempted to bet Sterling, to be honest with you, but because he is so green on the feet and he has gassed in the past, I didn't pull the trigger. But it is important to note that he actually went out and is training with Chris Camozzi, a good friend of his gym. You know, so he's been out there, he's acclimated. Assuncao is not. He's still in Atlanta, so I can definitely see an Aljamain Sterling decision here, guys. I don't want to follow that bet at all. Sorry.
All good, my man. We'll have the last laugh when it catches. But moving on.
I'll be laughing too, man.
Well, moving on to the prelim, the feature prelim here. We got a pretty fun fight, man. We got Smiling Sam Alvey -155 taking on Nate the Great Marquardt +135. And we'll start with you this time, Z. What do you think about this one?
So again, I look at these fights and I'm tempted, but I'm really learning the art of the pass. And I was tempted to bet Marquardt here because I think he has more volume on the feet. I think he's the more, I don't necessarily want to say the more well-rounded fighter, but I think he's got better jiu-jitsu and just kind of a better striking game. But one thing that he gets clipped with a lot is a good right hook from a southpaw stance. That's how Ellenberger caught him. Fight. Ellenberger was a different dude, man. I think he was roided to the gills. He looks so jacked. But so Ellenberger knocked him out like that. Hector Lombard caught him with a good right hook in those in that finishing sequence, and it's just something that always gives him trouble, from what I can tell. And that's Sam Alvey's best punch. So I definitely pumped the brakes on Marquardt. Not looking to bet it. I think Sam Alvey's good in kind of DraftKings GPP type game, because if he wins, he probably scores a bunch of points with a finish. But at the end of the day, you can't trust him in a bet because sometimes he sits there and does nothing. But by the same token, I'm not willing to trust Marquardt anymore because he is at risk of getting knocked out, and I don't really think he's going to be able to take Sam down. Sam's a kid who grew up at Teep Quest, wrestling with Randy and Dan Hendo, so his takedown defense is very good, and he's an experienced guy himself. But I can really see this going either way. Either Sam catches him with that right hook early, or Marquardt dances around, leg kicks, picks and pokes, stays mobile, stays away, maybe gasses him out and wins a decision. So really, who knows? The bet, in my opinion, is Marquardt or pass, but I can pass on it just because I see that opening for the KO.
Prophet, what's up, man? What you think?
Yeah, I think the voice of reason has spoken. He's telling it like it is here. It's true. I actually put a rush, like when I saw the line and I saw Marquardt at +150, I was like, okay, I got to jump on that. So I put 2 units on him. And it's for all the reasons that Z basically mentioned. I think he can kind of do what he did to Tamden Macquarie a bit and use those takedowns. But the thing about Sam Alvey, the more you like analyze like his style, he's pretty good at avoiding the takedown. He has like a pretty good avoidance percentage. Then again, he hasn't really fought like the best takedown artist, so this will be interesting here. Also, Yeah, Sam Alvey has a pretty good. He has a decent get up game. He tries to always get to the or like stay up game. Like when someone tries to take him down in the center of the octagon, you'll see him like run to that fence. Like he'll get to that fence just so he can't like get taken down, or has an easier way of getting back up. So those are things that kind of scare me in this bet. Also, yeah, his hooks, those definitely scare me too. But he's got a very low output, so if Nate the Great uses his experience and plays a smart fight in this, I think he can squeak out the win here. He might be able to finish it too, because we saw the shots that Alex Nicholson landed on Sam Alvey. I think Nate has the potential to land those too, but I think Nate has a bit more power than Alex Nicholson and can really do more of have more follow through on his shots and really deliver. Yeah, I favor Nate Marquardt here. I have 2 units on him. As the closer it gets to fight day, the less confident I am in that pick. But hey, we'll see what happens. I'm definitely not picking Sam in this. He's got such a low output, and he's very one dimensional. He's relying on one thing, so that's why I'm betting Nate the Great Marquardt in this. How about you, Kelton?
So I'm actually betting the other way, man. Well, first off, I'm fucking pumped for this fight, man. I'm big fans of both these guys. A lot of people don't know this, but Nate Marquardt was actually my first favorite fighter way back in the day, like 08, 09. But
you're betting against him, brother.
I am. I've bet against him a few times, and it's worked out. I've been hoping he'd hang up the gloves for a while now. He's getting really slow. He's super chinny, and against a guy like Sam Alvey, that's tough, man, because we all know my man Smiling Sam packs bombs. But Sam's an interesting guy to me, though. He was kind of a laughing stock after losing in the Ultimate Fighter and after the Tom Watson loss, but he's really improved to me, improved a lot to me, and that's what I look for in fighters to improve. He's not some elite guy, but I do like the improvements he's been making, and after those improvements after the Watson loss, he was still a little too patient with his striking, but we saw that in the Elias fight. But ever since the Elias fight, he's been coming out with a lot less patience. He's letting himself go more, and I'm expecting a firefight here, man. And in a firefight, I'm going to take the guy who's way harder to knock out. Sam gets joked on. People say he's just got power, but I think he's got some damn good boxing. And I think it's more than likely he shuts Nate Marquardt's lights off here. I don't think Nate Marquardt has won 2 fights in a row since something like 2012 or 2011. I do think Nate's best route to victory here is actually the wrestling. It did work well for him against Barncat last time out. But I think Sam can defend those personally, at least most of them. So my official pick here is Sam Alvey via a early second round TKO. And betting wise, I do have 1.5 units on Sam Alvey in a parlay with someone later in the card.
What are the improvements he's made?
You don't think he's made any improvements? I just think he's letting himself go. I think he's getting more comfortable in there. I mean, you don't think he's letting himself go more?
His grin has got a little wider.
No,
he's having more babies.
I think he's exactly the same fighter he's always been. He plants his feet. Doesn't have a lot of output. He hits hard. He throws a tight right hook, and that's his whole game. And he's good at stuffing takedowns, but I haven't seen any improvements from him.
His output is ridiculously low. Like
it's very low. And Marquardt's the better striker for sure. Sam has good boxing, but Marquardt's more diverse, throws in combination, can set him up, can evade. It's just you're basically betting on a puncher's chance, and you got a favorite price.
Is it safe to say? Is it safe to say that if Marquardt like had a solid chin, we'd all bet him?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
And the thing is, Santos finished him, but a lot of the times when he was getting knocked out, it was at 170, and he felt like the dehydration really affected that. So I mean, I still think Sam can knock him out. I'm just saying that's a fact.
I just think over the course of 3 rounds, it is the most likely thing that Sam Alvey does touch that chin, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure Nate Marquardt can take it.
Bro, if Tamden McQuarrie didn't knock him out, I'm just kidding. Anyway, go on, Z.
Yeah, what'd you say, Z?
I got Alvey by KO in Sports Interaction at least is plus 150. So that's 105 more than what you
thing
got.
is,
I would just.
I can see him winning a
I would
decision
bet
here.
KO prop. You think he's gonna get a decision?
No, that's not what I'm picking, but I think that is pretty.
In Denver?
Sure. I mean, didn't he fight in altitude in the last fight? Didn't he win a decision in altitude in his last fight?
That's where Marquardt's from.
True.
So if it's even close, he's getting the hometown.
Marquardt.
But this is also an old Marquardt.
I thought Marquardt was from Oregon.
Denver.
What?
Maybe he's born there, but he's definitely a Denver boy.
Yeah, because he was in that. I forget what fight it was, but he was like playing to that was against the Barn Cat. I thought they said like that was his hometown in Oregon there. Anyways, regardless, I do see what Kelton's saying there about how he did go 3 with Nicholson, the wife beater guy.
Yep.
Yeah, so it could he didn't look good, but I'm just saying it's possible squeaking out the decision.
I guess I would take, but the thing is, it's possible. But is it worth paying 105 more? No, you take the knockout prop.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not taking Sam Alvey at all, but I can understand like if you're really confident in Sam Alvey winning, to have the insurance to know like, hey, if this does go to the decision, at least my bet cashes. And hey, he subbed. Who is it? Eric Spicely. Who knows? What if he hits him with a hard shot that next there? You never know.
Never know.
That's MMA is a bitch sometimes, and you know that too. See, like how we've all been hit by like obvious props that look so obvious, and we took it and we're like, oh, fuck, a sub just happened.
Joe Duffy by KO versus Mitch
Clark. So
knocked him down, choked him out. I was so pissed.
There you go. There's a price to have a little bit of insurance on something, a little peace of mind. But yeah, on a puncher's chance, it's
on a puncher's chance. You got a plus, or you got a minus 150.
I like it. I like it. I feel comfortable with it, man.
I feel comfortable talking to you, Kelton.
I feel comfortable talking to you too, man. But
I'm on.
Something I do feel comfortable with is this main card opener, man. I love this fight. Jason Knight minus 155 taking on Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres plus 135. We're gonna start with you Prophet, on this one. What do you think?
This is I said earlier in the episode, if my connection was still alive, I don't know if you guys heard it, but I thought this was one of the closest matchups on the card. This and the Shelton Pantoja. I'm favoring Jason Knight here just because of his relentless pressure. And Caceres hasn't been necessarily a pressure fighter. He's been kind of somebody that waits for the fight to come to him. I favor give a bit of the wrestling advantage to Knight too, but the measuring stick for who are Alex Caceres' last fights? He fought against
Yair Rodriguez and Nacio Fullen.
No, the last one was Cole Miller. Cole
Miller.
So he looked great against Cole Miller, and he looked pretty. He had his moments in the Yair Rodriguez fight. And he has pretty good like reactive takedowns. He seems to always be in a position where he can not reactive takedowns, reactive takedown defense. Sorry. So he seems to be ready for those takedowns. He's shown to be all right on the ground. In the past, he's had some really shoddy performances on the mat. Jason Knight should be better there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Caceres can keep it standing and kind of maybe counter. Jason Knight hasn't shown the best head movement either, but I do like the pressure he has. And if there's one thing I've seen in Caceres fights is he doesn't respond well to pressure as much, and he seems like he's a little inside his head, where Jason Knight's just game and ready to throw. This is a clear pass for me, just because, like I said, it's a coin flip in my mind. But I do favor Jason Knight here. Do I blame anyone for betting the dog in this position? No, I do see path to victory for both of them. What do you guys think?
Well, man, I love this fight. This is my pick for fight of the night, personally. Just how I see the other fights going down, this is my pick for fight of the night right here. I really like Jason Knight. He's pretty well-rounded, man, and he's tough as nails. He has a lot of things I look for in a fighter, and like all smiling Sam, Z may disagree, but I think Jason Knight is also improving fighter. And he had a tough short notice debut against Kawajiri, but he still showed off some good stuff there. And then, like I said, he's improved after every fight. Came through as a dog for me last out against Dan Hooker. You know, he blasted, he dropped him in the first minute. Then he pretty much dominated the fight with his wrestling. Third round was tough. He did slow down a bit in that third round. But the thing is, what I really liked, he listened to his corner when they said to start doing the takedowns. And that's another thing I look for in a fighter, is fighters that listen to their corners. And that's what Jason Knight did. Caceres on the other side, he's put together 3 damn good performances in a row now, beating Fullen, Miller, and even in the loss to Rodriguez. I thought that was a very, very good performance. I'm sure he did better than most people thought he would against Yair. And personally, though, I think he's outmatched here skill-wise. I think Knight would have looked way better against those 3 guys than Caceres did. One thing I will give Caceres, like I said, is the cardio. Knight really faded in that third round against Hooker. That might have just been because Knight was going so hard for that rear naked choke pretty much the entire second round. Who knows, man? But I'm going to go with Knight here. I think he could possibly starch Alex Caceres early. He's a bit of a slow starter. We saw him get knocked out by Cisco Rivera in like 21 seconds. Jason Knight comes out strong. He's got decent power. But the thing is, I see him utilizing the wrestling here for the most part. I think that's his best route to victory. And I do think the striking is pretty close. I think the striking's close. Not going to be no dominant performance on the feet from Jason Knight, but I do like him here a lot. So my official pick is going to be Jason Knight via 30-27 decision. And I do have him in a 1-unit parlay with something later in the card. Who do we got left? Z, what do you think of this fight, man?
Didn't even want to let me go after I called you on your bullshit last fight, eh? I think what you guys brought up about the measuring stick for Alex Caceres was a great point. He looked good against a shot Cole Miller. And as far as looking good in the Yair Rodriguez fight, I believe that was because both of them operate at the same space, that kind of open water, you know, karate style, taekwondo distance. So he was able to get off some flashy stuff. But as far as Jason Knight's gritty. He's going to be in your face. He's got decent boxing, good takedowns. And like you said, he listens to his corner. But another thing he does is he's thinking in there. Like in his fight against his second UFC fight, I forget who it was against. He got taken down.
Jim Ehlers.
And then, Jim Ehlers, yeah. And then he took the guy down at the end of the round and mentioned to his corner, like, I got it back because I took him down. I like guys that are actively kind of scoring the fight in their head, something that Masvidal doesn't do well at all. But yeah, so he does it very well. He can win the decision. And I just think that aggression, putting Caceres on the back foot's really going to kind of nullify all that flash. And he's going to be forced to throw down with Jason Knight. And that's just not a good look for anybody, especially Alex Caceres. So I got Jason Knight. But looking at this, like, could Caceres win the decision? Yeah. Could he catch him? I don't really think so, but it's kind of there. So I don't really think the price is playable, really. Like, I think it's correct, you know. So I think Jason Knight cashes for you guys, but yeah, I'm passing.
I didn't bet on it.
Oh, you didn't do it?
No, for all the reasons we mentioned, like I couldn't do it. But yeah, I do favor him here, but it's not by a long shot by any means.
Exactly. So the price is right.
Yeah, before we move too far forward, I missed a bet that I did. I just did this recently too. It was the Eric Shelton and Alexander Pantoja over 2.5 rounds. I got that at -170. It's at -175 now. Oh man, damn! I missed out on that 5. Oh well, but yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's still good. Yeah. Oh yeah, minus. Yeah, sorry. I use the decimal system, so I convert it into US. when I talk to you guys, I don't know. I like it for my math. I'm blonde, so I'm a little slow.
No, I'm the same way. Decimal's easier. You just get confused converting sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm a genius. You're right. But yeah, I really like that play here because it's like such an evenly matched fights, and both these guys are fighting for their livelihood. I love it. Like the odds of a finish happening in this fight, I highly doubt it. If I do see a finish, though, I see it happening for Pantoja. I see it being a sub, but I do still favor Eric Shelton, and I favor him by decision. So yeah, if you were really confident on one of these, if you were really confident on Eric Shelton and you did want to bet him here, I'd look at the decision prop as well if you wanted to make it a little juicier. But yeah, I thought the over was at a great price, so I put 3 units on it. So yeah. Anyways, on to the next one. What's the next one, boys?
Next fight, man, we got Francis Ngannou, Predator, minus 425, taking on Andre the Pitbull Arlovski, plus
I wonder what
340.
you guys seen that new T Woods account on Twitter, eh?
Hilarious.
I wonder what they'd say about his nickname.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So man, just
What, Pitbull?
no.
Good
Predator.
Canadian kid, Z.
Oh man. So fun heavyweight matchup, man. Just one of the few young prospects in the heavyweight division that I'm really excited about. From what I see right now, I don't think he'll be champ, but you know, he's got a lot of time to develop. He is so young for the heavyweight division. Taking on one of the many veterans in the heavyweight division. Just like many of the fights on this card, I got a strong opinion here, man. I think it's simple. I think Ngannou is going to touch that chin and put Arlovski away early. I tried to figure out what Arlovski's best chance of victory is, and I really don't know. He could try to do what he did against Frank Mir and kind of play it safe and dance around a bit, but
it's pronounced Frank Mir.
Frank Mir. That's right. But that's much easier against a slower old Frank Mir than it is against a fast, young, athletic Ngannou. He could try to force a firefight like he did against Travis Brown and look for a bomb because Arlovski, of course, still has that big power. He did drop Josh Barnett, I think, a couple times in that last fight. But that's going to be very hard without getting touched up by Ngannou. Of course, I don't even need to say it. Everyone knows about Arlovski's glass chin, and I think Ngannou might have the most power in the division behind maybe Mark Hunt. So I think Ngannou is simply just going to land the big shot around 1 or 2 minutes, and Arlovski won't be able to recover. I think that'll be a wrap, man. So I got Francis Ngannou via a first round KO. And I do like the under in that fight, and I do like Francis in a parlay. I do have quite a few parlays on this fight. So I got that other unit I got on Assuncao. I got 1 unit on Assuncao in the Ngannou under 1.5 rounds to win 1.86 units. I got Jason Knight with the Ngannou under 1.5 rounds to win 1.52, and then I got that 1.5 units on Sam Alvey with Francis Ngannou to win 1.47. But Z, what do you think about this one, man?
Leans into the mic. I think this is a similar spot to what we saw with Cub Swanson and Duho Choi, where you have a nice, fresh prospect who's looking very good. Finally takes his first real test, and it's kind of an inflated line. Now, I did fall for that Choi line. I parlayed that up and lost. But here I'm not going to do that. I'm not touching Ngannou because we haven't seen him get hit, and we haven't seen him against a striking heavyweight like Arlovski. He hasn't fought a striker like this. Arlovski, he's dusty. He's made of glass, but he still has that power right hand, and he throws it fast and sharp, and he doubles up on it. And I really think Ngannou, I haven't seen much defense from him. He's spectacular offensive striking, very strong, freak human. He's massive, he's athletic. But up on top of a mountain, man, at altitude, the bigger you are, the slower you get, and Arlovski trains at altitude. So again, that comes and plays a factor in my mind. And whenever you have guys with glass chins like this, I mean, it looks so obvious, right? It looks like this Ngannou is just going to come in and knock him out. He's been knocked out a bunch before. But then you get a Travis Brown fight where he whoops his ass and even gets caught with a big shot, and he recovers and wins the fight. So I'm not really one to bank on these glass chin arguments. And at minus 425 for an unproven guy, as imposing as and as he has looked, this is his first step up. So I think Andre has a puncher's chance here, and that could come to fruition. So I'm not touching it. If anything, you bet the under, because I think one guy's going out one way or the other.
Boom.
Another time when this is another time when just like I was talking about with Spice Lee versus Maheta, like Andre's going to be intimidated. He's going to be scared in there, and that might make him fight desperate, and that might cause him to win the fight. You know what I mean? Like, he might fight with that desperation. I have to take this guy out, and that we might see a really good Andre Arlovski. I don't know. But so yeah, that's my take on the fight. I can't really trust Andre to get it done, The KO prop is plus 600. So if you want to poke Andre Arlovski, that's what I would do, or use him in DraftKings as a GPP. But I really think it's a step up for Ngannou, so that I can't justify that minus 425. You know.
Yeah, I think people are gonna think that Ngannou is gonna like dwarf Arlovski too. But
yeah, that too.
Yeah, like because you've just seen like how like outsized he does everyone. But Arlovski's a pretty big guy, man, and he's got some serious power too. Do I favor Ngannou in this matchup? Yes, I do, and I'm sure Z you do too. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give a slight edge, but I just
you favor him exactly.
Yeah,
but and for all the reasons you've mentioned is why I'm betting the under. I have 2 units on it. It was at around plus 200 or sorry minus 200. Fucking shit. And what did I copy and paste that one? No, I don't know what I got it at, but it was at, I think it was at minus 200 around there. With this, yeah, so Andre Arlovski starts his fights pretty quickly. He tries to get in there and tries to dispose of them. And he's not going to want this fight to go long. Like the longer he's in there with a powerful guy like the Predator, the longer his chin is put out to risk. So he's going to want to finish it early. Mm-hmm. Now that works both ways. His eagerness to put it away early can work for him, but it can just as equally work against him. Ngannou can counter, and he can counter really hard. And if he touches that chin, he can wobble him and you can put him away. I bet the under here, and I bet it with quite a bit of confidence. I also bet Assuncao, that 2 units I mentioned. I put I paired it up with the inside the distance prop. Yeah, I don't see this going the full 3, that's for sure. I do favor the under here. If I had to pick, I'd pick Ngannou just because all it's going to really take is one solid connection, and it could be lights out for Arlovski. But Arlovski can quite easily do the same thing to Ngannou because we really haven't seen him take a proper punch by a proper striker yet. This is going to be a really interesting matchup, and I'm going to be really interested to tune into this one.
Absolutely, man. But anything you want to add, Z?
No.
All right.
No, it was a great point.
So moving on to the people's main event here, man. The co-main event. Donald Cowboy Cerrone minus 155 taking on Jorge Gamebred Masvidal plus 135. Z, this is your fight, man. Take it away.
No, this is everybody's fight. I love Masvidal here. I love him. This is a perfect stylistic matchup to fuck with Cerrone. Cerrone, he can style on guys when he's more technical, right? Like the Rick Story, the Patrick Cote, these type of guys. But every single time he fights a technical striker, he either loses or has trouble. People will probably bring up Barboza. Barboza was whooping his ass, landing big shots. Cerrone couldn't really find his rhythm, find his range. And really, some people say there's no lucky punches, but I think that jab on Barboza was as lucky as you're going to get. I think it was just perfectly timed, and Cowboy got away with it. You know, he capitalized. And he's very good. He can capitalize. He can do a bunch of great stuff. But when you got a guy like Masvidal, all the pros that you can say about Cerrone, you give to Masvidal as well. Super experienced, young 30s, even though Cowboy's 2 years older, and just game as fuck, right? Both these guys are born fighters. They'll fight in the parking lot, they'll fight in the cage, it does not matter. But when you're breaking down stylistic matchups at the highest level, which this fight is, Masvidal has the kind of technical timing-based striking to really fuck with Cerrone. If you go back and you watch the Diaz fight, that's how Diaz beat Cowboy. It was just get in his face and have that offbeat timing, and then Cowboy can never find his flow. You know, when he flows, he looks spectacular. And when guys allow him to do that, he gets into that rhythm usually around the second round, and then he can turn it on, right? But Masvidal is not going to let him do that. He's crafty enough to know that he needs to hop on him early. And with losing some recent decisions as closely as he did, I think regardless of who he's fighting, there's been an uptick in his aggression as of late, right? Now he's fighting Cerrone, who he knows he needs to get on him early. So we're going to see an ultra-aggressive Jorge Masvidal with the skill set and the style to really fluster Cowboy Cerrone. I love this fight. from a fan's perspective, and I love betting on Masvidal in this spot. Masvidal went out to Denver. He's been training there, so he's acclimated. It's all good. And when you break down his, like, you can break down like stats like this on both guys, but think about it. Masvidal is 32 years old, in my opinion, in his prime, with 14 years of pro experience under his belt, and he's had over a decade training at American Top Team. That's just phenomenal. Now, you can say the same thing about Donald Cerrone. He's been around for a long time. He's at Jackson's, all this good stuff. So it really goes both ways, but I go back to the stylistic advantages for Masvidal. That timing, that catch you on that little offbeat, you know what I mean? Boxes Cowboy up real bad. And people say he doesn't have power because he goes to decision. I say he goes to decision because he's toying with people in there. And that's cost him some close decisions, but he's never gotten his ass whooped, in the UFC at least. He's he plays with guys and he feels comfortable, and then he loses a squeaker decision. But when guys actually exchange with him, you realize that they don't want none of it. They don't want to exchange with this guy because his timing is sick and his hands are heavy. Even though he's not getting those finishes, like I said, I maintain he's got heavy hands. He can dig to the body, which Cowboy is notoriously weak to. We haven't seen that exploited at 170, so I'm not willing to say I'm not willing to bank on that alone, but at the same time, I can't write it off as it's fixed. You know what I mean? But regardless of the body issue, Matt Brown dropped Cowboy in his last fight with a shot to the head. And it was in one of those transitions almost where like this Cowboy landed a combo, but then needed a little moment to reset. Where Masvidal does his best work in those little moments where a guy's trying to reset, that's where he's striking, or that's where he's going for a takedown. As far as their skill sets are concerned, like well-rounded, I give Masvidal an edge in the wrestling. He goes to colleges. He wrestles with collegiate wrestlers. He's been roommates with Colby Covington, a tremendous wrestler. So his wrestling's on point. Cerrone, although his wrestling has improved as of late, I still give Masvidal an edge there. Jiu-jitsu-wise, I think Cerrone has an advantage. I think his guard is ultra aggressive. He'll sweep. He'll attack with triangles, omoplatas, everything. It's all good stuff. But Masvidal's just been around the game so long. I don't think he's going to get caught. I think what you're going to see is Masvidal not touch gloves, run to the center of the cage, start boxing Cowboy up. Cowboy never finds his range. He gets hurt and he gets finished. I took inside the distance, plus 472. It's bumped up to plus 495. Take that over the KO prop because what's the KO prop at? Plus 650. Well, that's pretty juicy too. Wow, that opened 855. That's okay too. But the nature of the beast, you know, Masvidal can get a high elbow guillotine. He can get a Darce choke. Anything can happen in MMA, like we alluded to earlier with the Sam Alvey bet. And yeah, and I'm also looking at betting on Masvidal straight up because I think shout out to MMA God. He makes great prediction videos as well. Doesn't get enough hype, but he says
lives in the same town as me.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys friends?
No, I mean I want to meet up with him at some point.
Yeah, you should.
And
you guys should.
Is he can. What he said is Masvidal might just have the better spots throughout the fight and never be able to find the finish. I can see a situation where that happens. I could also see a situation where Cerrone lands something or submits him. So I like 3 bets on this fight. I like Masvidal straight up. I like the under 2.5, and I like Masvidal inside the distance. Hopefully he gets it done early and those 3 cash. The only one that's in play right now is the Masvidal inside the distance for plus 472. And that's the only bet I have in play right now at the moment, right? So anything I've talked about before, it's really just forecasting, but Masvidal inside the distance is locked up. I've spoken for a while on this fight. I'm so
all good, man.
I really think Masvidal is going to kill Cerrone. I think he kills him.
Like, do you think we're going to see an octagon murder here for real? I
do.
No.
Yeah. No, man. I agree with you on this. I think inside the distance, I'm not going to bet on it personally, but I hope it happens because then I have 4 units on Masvidal just to preface what I'm about to say. So if it does end inside the distance, I lose a little bit less hair and my receding hairline doesn't go back as much. So that's always good because I like my hair. I really do. So yeah, but I for all the reasons you mentioned, I really like Masvidal here. But on top of everything you said, like the timing is perfect. Like you're right about that. But Cerrone's timing has been pretty decent in lots of his fights. He just times that switch kick pretty damn good. Like he always seems to be able to hit the head, and if he doesn't like connect flush with it, it gets blocked, but it still hits that target. So I really like that. But I like the fluidity of Masvidal. I like how he moves in there. Robin Black had a pretty cool breakdown about how he's water in there, how he moves like water. Props to Robin Black. Yeah, so I do like that fluidity, being able to kind of toy with Cerrone a bit. Lots of Cerrone's wins that he's had up in the most recent fights have been against stiffer guys. No one's had the fluidity that Masvidal does. So I could see Masvidal just toying with him, outpointing him here. Masvidal's hinted at the takedown. I'm not too concerned about the submission threat if he does take him down. Obviously, it's there, but I do think, you know, he trains with elite grapplers and he'll be able to avoid that. Masvidal's last submission loss was ages ago, so far ago that it's irrelevant.
Toby.
What's that?
Toby Amada.
What
reverse triangle.
What year was that?
Oh, it was in Bellator. It was a long time ago. It made highlight reels though because it was really sweet. But
yeah, no doubt.
It was 09. 09.
Yeah, so you know that was pretty long ago. His submission defense and his submission grappling has, you know, improved leaps and bounds since then. Like you said, he trains with Colby Covington, arguably the best wrestler in the welterweight division. Maybe Kamaru Usman. That would be a really cool matchup for matchmaking futures. A battle of wrestling. It might be like you'd expect it to be a boring fight just because it's like, you know, a grind fest, but it might just turn into fireworks and they might just try and stand with each other. But it would be cool to just like from a fan perspective to see a grappling match. But either way, I'm going on a tangent about something that's not even relevant to this card. But
no, I got you.
But yeah, he's arguably one of the best wrestlers in the welterweight division, and he's his main training partner, Masvidal's main training partner. Masvidal's striking's on point. I think he's got the boxing department beat on Cowboy Cerrone, but Cowboy Cerrone's maybe got the kicks. Masvidal's really got to watch out for that switch kick. That thing concerns me because I know Masvidal's chin's great.
Cowboy.
What's that?
So does Cowboy.
No, I'm talking about Cowboys. I'm talking about Cowboys.
I'm talking about Masvidal's switch kick.
Okay, but you said
so
does Cowboy.
Yeah, Cowboy's got to watch out for Masvidal.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like Masvidal hit a spinning hook kick on Jake Ellenberger in his last fight. His kicks are no joke.
No, yeah, I totally.
It's kind of like a secret weapon.
I totally understand what you're saying, but like if you're looking at like who's been finishing people with their kicks, come on. It's Cerrone. So that's the thing that concerns me when I'm looking at this. I'm just trying to play like devil whenever I like make a bet or I'm looking at a bet. I try and play devil's advocate. Like I'm still put 4 units on Masvidal. I still favor him in just about everywhere striking. But these are the things that even if you're betting on Masvidal, these are the things I would look out for, and I'd be like, oh, please don't fucking throw that, you know, like the whole time. So I do favor Masvidal here. I think he can win it on the ground. I think he can win it standing. I think he's the better athlete here, and I see him winning. It could be inside the distance. I hope it's inside the distance. I hope you cash that bet. That'd be a sick cash. But yeah, if not, the decision would be good for me too. What do you think, Kelton?
Man, I'm going to be echoing a lot of things you guys said, but fuck it. I just want to talk about this fight, man. Such great technique is going to be on display here. Like Z said, it's really one of the best fights you can make in the UFC right now. And I love even more that it's happening at welterweight where they're at their physical best, man. Yeah. Also, it's interesting because I feel like both guys have evolved past where they were in most of their careers. You know, Masvidal was a guy who kind of let decisions slip by him frequently. He missed that killer instinct. He would take third rounds off, but he's got a chip on his shoulder now, man. And he showed in his last fight that he's got that killer aggression now, and he's while staying technical, of course, too. It's a shame that happened with Ellenberger getting his toe stuck in the cage because I thought Masvidal was just gonna TKO him anyway. But man, Cerrone on the other side, he was a 55, but he was never the guy. And here at 170, I do think he looks better than he ever has. But in his last fight against Brown, he showed that while his offense is amazing, he still lacks defense a little bit. He gets tagged too much for my liking, and So how I see this playing out, I think it's going to be a fucking banger for as long as it lasts. With Cerrone being so dynamic, Masvidal's got this chip on his shoulder showing that new aggression. I do like Jorge Masvidal to go out there and put Donald Cerrone away in the first round. I think his striking is just a notch more technical. And, you know, Donald, in my opinion, he really only has the kicking advantage, but I think Masvidal just has such a big boxing advantage, and I think he can just pour it on Cerrone. And if he can land some big body shots, we know how that goes with Cerrone. We just talked about Arlovski's glass chin. Well, Cerrone has a glass body, man. And Masvidal is a guy that can find that opening and execute. So I'm going with Jorge Masvidal via a first-round TKO, and I do have a bet on Jorge Masvidal. I got 1.5 units on him at plus 140 to win 2.1 units. Anything else you guys want to add on that fight?
I just want to add that hindsight, we really should have went Shevchenko first and then Masvidal, because like I just I'm just like, okay, now it's Shevchenko Pena, cool.
I just want to say regarding the kicks of Cowboy, like Cowboy gets off on these kicks versus guys who just they're nowhere near the level of technical striker that Masvidal is, offensively and defensively, and in his back pocket he has ridiculous durability and chin. So it's just like, even if Cowboy lands, even if he knocks him down, he pops right back up. And the way guys finish Cowboy, it's usually not like a one-hitter to take him out. It's hurt you and swarm you. And so that's what Masvidal does. Like, his swarm is so technical. He mixes it up to the body, to the head. If he's on the ground, ground and pound. I really think he hurts on Cowboy, jumps on him early and finishes him. Love that bet.
All right, so moving on to the main event of the evening here. We got Valentina Shevchenko, minus 130, taking on Juliana Pena, plus 110. I'll start this one off, man. This is a great fight. When I said Masvidal Cerrone should be the main event, that's really no shade on this fight. That's just an amazing fight, but this is a damn good one, too. Probably one of the best fights you can make in all of women's MMA. Both of these girls are coming off their biggest wins in both July of last year, and both proved me wrong, man. I actually picked Ngannou against Pena, and I picked Holly Holm against Shevchenko, but I wasn't really confident in either of those picks, but I'm confident here, man. So first, talking about the stand-up, I do think it's not even remotely close. I think the difference in striking ability here is an even bigger gap than the Nunes-Rousey fight, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying Valentina is going to knock out Juliana. She's a different striker than Nunes, but she really, you know, she doesn't have that fight-changing power. She's more of a point striker, but I don't think Pena, I don't think highly of her striking whatsoever. She's super sloppy, super basic, super telegraphed, and Valentina is a lifelong striker, man. She's something like 56-2 in Muay Thai, something like that. Man, keeping it standing and landing points on the feet for 5 rounds, it's no easy task. She is a little small for the division. Juliana is a big girl with excellent grappling. But the thing is, Juliana, she is a great grappler and good at gaining dominant positions, but she's no amazing takedown artist, in my opinion. And based on what I've seen from Valentina's super underrated takedown defense, I think she's going to be able to reverse some takedown offense and get some dominant positions of her own. She is a black belt in judo. A lot of people don't know that. But, man, so I just think the grappling is close. The striking is just so one-sided. Juliana, in my opinion, she hasn't really had that one big eye-opening performance over top-level competition yet like Shevchenko has. I was super impressed with Shevchenko against Holm. And Pena, her biggest win was against Ngannou, but that was a Ngannou that hasn't fought in like 17 months. So I really just love Valentina to outpoint Pena here over 5 rounds. I think Pena maybe gains top position and controls it for 1 round, but that's it. Valentina, she actually has 5-round experience. She has a lot more fighting experience in general. She's got main event experience. I just love Shevchenko here. And I don't think she's going to finish Juliana Pena here. I think we are looking at a decision, but my official pick is Shevchenko via a 49-46 decision. And betting-wise, I love Valentina. And I really like the over, but the bet I took because the line just, it stood out to me, man. I put 2.5 units on Valentina via decision at plus 235 to win 5.88 units, and love that bet, man. But Prophet, what do you think here, man?
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely outcome, the decision. Originally, like when I first heard this fight come out, I was thinking that Pena would win just with grappling, whatever, because I haven't paid too much attention to Valentina Shevchenko, and I just know of her as a striker, Muay Thai, karate, no, she's Muay Thai and Taekwondo, isn't she? Yeah, so she does that. She has got a boxing record, but I didn't know. I thought maybe her ground game was obsolete, and maybe Juliana Pena could just, take her to the ground and lay on her and, work that submission offense. But looking at tape of Shevchenko, she's actually got somewhat of a ground game. Not as good off the back. Maybe she'll be able to reverse the position if she gets taken down. But she was decent. She could get who did she take down? She took down Sarah Kaufman. She even out grappled. Yeah, exactly. She out-grappled Nunes. She out-judoed Nunes. When Nunes was going for the takedown on Shevchenko was reversing it. But then again, that's a gassed Nunes, and we haven't really seen Pena gas to the degree that Nunes does. This is a 5-round fight, too, at altitude. Should be pretty interesting. I do favor Shevchenko here. I actually got a chance to line hop on this one totally by accident. I was telling these guys before the episode. So I was trying to rush money in on Masvidal when he came out as a plus 150. And it was plus 140. But either way, I thought it might have been plus 150. And it was Pena that was plus 150. And I just locked in the bet on her. I put 2.5 units on her. And then the line eventually flipped, and Shevchenko ended up being a plus 100. So I put 275 on her. So if Shevchenko wins, I can win $25, and or 0.25 units. And if who's the other one? If Pena wins, I can win 1 unit on her. So either way, no matter who wins, I win. So I like that part of what's happened there, but with this, I can't bet on either. I do heavily favor Shevchenko here, but that threat of the ground game really concerns me. Maybe Pena can do something. Maybe she can work her submissions. She showed weakness, or Valentina showed weakness off her back against Sarah Kaufman, so I don't know. But if Valentina has a smart game plan, she keeps it on the feet, she manages the distance well, she should be able to light up Pena here. And I wouldn't be surprised if she got a finish on the feet, to be honest. Most likely it goes to decision, I guess, but I don't know. I'm staying away from this fight from a betting perspective. I'm not going to heavily favor either of them as far as putting money down, but I do understand the play on Shevchenko. How about you, Z? What do you think?
Yeah, I love Shevchenko as well. Huge advantage on the feet, very strong in the clinch. I wasn't aware of the judo experience, but I just thought it was just from her Muay Thai experience. A lot of those traditional Muay Thai guys or fighters have a strong trip game from the clinch, good solid base, and she definitely has that. So I see the judo now that you mention it. But yeah, I honestly see an overwhelming TKO for Valentina. I think she outlasts her. This is the kind of spot where Juliana has to consistently get her down, and she's not training at altitude. She's in Chicago. Valentina has gone out there early. She's been living up there, so she's acclimated. I always like to see fighters do that. But regarding the camp of Juliana Pena, some people have said that she's at a new camp, and that might be growing pains and whatnot. It's a negative factor, but really she's had her last 3 camps in Chicago. This is just the first time she moved there.
Isn't she in Washington?
No,
she just switched camps.
Anymore. She moved to Chicago.
Oh, she's not at Six Jitsu.
Nope.
Oh, no. Wow. Okay, cool.
No, she's training with actually a Hickson Gracie lineage black belt in Chicago. But the point I was making was that it's not a new environment for her. It's just the first time she's living there full time for the camp. She's completely moved. So not really a switch up, but still at the same time, she's not training at altitude, and Valentina is. And in a 5-round fight, I think that plays a big factor, especially considering that I don't really think Pena is going to finish it early. Is maybe some early takedown success, probably not though. And then probably Valentina just absolutely piecing her up. Juliana gets tired, doesn't have the striking defense, and gets finished. So yeah, I like Valentina Shevchenko to be a TKO probably in the 2nd or 3rd round.
All right.
Oh, the under 4.5. Whenever I
Yeah.
see unders at 4.5, it's always tempting for me. But I know you're on that decision, Cal. Bad juju.
All right, man. So I'm actually going to blindside you guys here. We're going to talk about your prediction for the fight of the night and your prediction for the 2 performances of the night. Personally, me, man, I'm going to go with Masvidal and Ngannou for performance of the night. I think they both get that first round TKO over good, solid opponents. And for fight of the night, like I said, I like Alex Caceres and Jason Knight. I think that's got fun written all over it, man. Prophet, what do you think?
Well, yeah, you're kind of obviously you've had a ton of time to think about this one, Kelton. It'd be cool if Jingliang or
Thought about Jingliang,
had the performance of the night. Seeing as there's no real money riding on this one, I can just wing it. For fight of the night, yeah, Masvidal Cerrone. And maybe it doesn't even deserve. Maybe by the end of the fight card, it might not even deserve fight of the night, but it might just get it because favoritism and whatnot. But yeah, it could, and I do think there's a good chance it gets fight of the night. And what was the other thing you wanted me to?
The
pick?
2 performance bonuses in the fight of the night.
2 performance bonus, and yeah, I guess probably Ngannou will get one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man,
Z.
I'll go performance of the night for Masvidal because I really think that happens, and I'm very confident in that. And fight of the night, I like yours, but just to not steal it, I'll go with something else. Let's go Eric Shelton and Pantoja. I think that's gonna be fight of the night.
Yeah,
that's scrappy. Where pieces him up and is more technical and the better athlete and is able to outlast him. But Pantoja is a scrappy dude, so it's gonna be entertaining to watch.
I hope that gets fight of the night. To be honest with you, both of them could use the paycheck.
True.
And one thing I want to highlight as well is I think those people have a good shot at being top 10 flyweights in 2 fights. I think they can be up there quite easily. I think they're better than lots of the flyweights that are already on the roster.
I think Pantoja is too slow. He's too slow to be top level, man.
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see come fight night.
No, never mind. I was gonna say, isn't Damian Maia too slow? But Pantoja's nowhere near Damian Maia's level of jiu-jitsu.
Pantoja's got a really, really good ground game, and yeah, and he hangs on the feet. He has that relentless pressure. He's always moving forward. I mean, maybe he's not like the most speedy guy, but there are still people in that division that are pretty high ranked that are similar in that respect. So I do see what you're saying, Z, but yeah, I do think these guys have the potential to be top 15, top caliber flyweights.
Yeah, top 15.
Yeah. But yeah, it was lovely chatting with you boys, eh?
Yeah, man. I was about to say, fun stuff, man.
Yo, maybe one day we'll meet in real life. Wouldn't that be cool?
I don't see myself going to Canada though. What do I need to go to Canada for?
Come on, man. It's sick down here.
Just because you can't get across the border, it's all good.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to climb that wall, buddy.
I've been to Canada a long time ago.
Yeah, what did you see? Did you see Niagara Falls?
Sure did. Isn't that where everyone goes to Canada? Yep.
I guess so. Yeah.
What's that amusement park in Canada that's getting a bunch of fire thrown on it right now for the bears and whatnot? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
No. Damn, Marineland. Yeah, I went there, and now it might get shut down from what I'm hearing.
Everybody loves Marineland.
Yeah, you know that commercial, right?
Everybody loves.
Everyone's seen that.
It's gold.
It's been running for like 30 years.
Yeah. All right. Well, any plugs you guys want to do? Now's your chance. Z?
Yeah, just follow me at Rockstarzee. You can check out my betting record tracked on Cappertek under the same name, Rockstarzee, and I'm also now tracked on Betmma.tips. Again, Rockstarzee. Check out my YouTube page YouTube channel where I do breakdowns like this, just myself, so it's quicker formats at Z's MMA. And best luck to you guys. Hope you all cash your bets.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, awesome. If you want to follow me at the MMAProphet on Twitter. I'm also tracking my bets at Betmma.tips, Betmma.tips/MMAProphet. I'm also on YouTube at youtube.com/MMAProphet. But moving forward, I'll be co-host of the breakdowns portion, the in focus portion of the Loudmouth MMA podcast. Pretty happy about that. Got a good connection with Kyle there, and we're going to be breaking down fights moving forward. So I'm really excited for that, and I hope you guys can tune in.
Yeah, I'll definitely be.
I did. I heard you. That was good stuff.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Stop. You're making me blush.
Your co-host is a pretty cool guy too. I like him.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Are you guys this nice to all the boys?
I'm a nice guy. I know you guys are nice. You're Canadian. Everyone's nice in Canada.
Yeah, we have to be polite. It's a part of the law in Canada.
But yeah, man, of course, if you're still watching, subscribe to my channel. I'm coming very, very close up to 100 subscribers, which I'm very happy about. Comment, tell me who you're betting on. And yeah, man, thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to do it for us. So, and that's the MMA Prophet, guys. But that being said, enjoy the fights, guys.